Delisa Hour here with Third Movement. Wanting to bring you a video. This video is going to be a single guide to finding a mate video. I haven't did one of these in a while. I do a lot of relationship videos, but a single guide is more of a video to help guide people who are single individuals into finding a godly relationship, into preparing themselves for godly relationships. And I think preparation is big. I think if we spend more time prepping on things that have a better outcome, including marriage, I believe, and this is a whole nother video, but I believe if we had a better time in prepping ourselves on parenthood, we'll have better kids out there. But you know, that's a whole nother video, and I don't want to get into that. So this video is going to be talking about being in self-control. It's actually called being in self-control and not in control of the relationship. Now, I have notes, so if I look down, I'm looking at my notes that I wrote. And just to give you a brief overview of how I came to this to these points, I was in my in prayer time with God, and I was seeking God for a situation that's going on in my life, just to see what God's heart was on and everything. And while I was there, I always opened myself up to hear from God. And hearing from God, He gave me this. You know, He gave me and it wasn't even this being in self-control wasn't even. It was pertaining to what I was talking about, but not in a way of like, oh my goodness, that was a big revelation. But He did give me a revelation on the relationships, which I tried to do a relationship video. And I'm gonna tell you, man, God is faithful, because I said, Lord, I want to do this with your heart. I want to do this focus on you. And I said, I want to do this where you guide this. And He really guided this, because I had nothing to say about a relationship. I was all week long, I'd be like, okay, I got a relationship video to do Thursday, and I just ain't got nothing to say about it just yet. You know, I got to find something to say about it. So while I was in my prayer time with Him, He gave me being in self-control and not control the relationship. And I really feel like this is going to speak to someone out there. I don't know, you're going through something, whether you're in a relationship or you're getting ready to be in a relationship, but I really feel like this is going to speak to you. Now, the whole premise of being in self-control in a relationship is simply understanding that if I control my actions, if I control the way I live, if I control how I want to be towards another individual, and they're controlling themselves, then we wouldn't have to really so much control where the relationship going. We'll be controlling ourselves to take this relationship to the place that it's supposed to go. Understand that this is a Christian video, so it's going to have Christian principles. Everything I believe in is going to be built on Christian principles. Now, I pray that this help you if you're an unbeliever. I pray that this help you, but more than anything, I just want to let you know that this is a Christian video. And so, with that being said, all relationships should be guided on one thing. All relationships should be guided on one thing, and that's the law of God, the Word of God, and how God feel about things. What I mean by that, in life you have a morality aspect in life. You have your own morals. My morals are built on the Word of God. For instance, I believe in following the 12 commandments. I believe in following the laws of God, you know, that we're called to follow. Now, I don't want to get into whether the old is done away with. I'm not getting into that. What I'm saying is I believe in, through my values, my morality, I'm following the Word of God. So when I govern myself, when I look to control for self-control, when I look to control my own actions, I look to control myself. I look to control them according to the Word of God. The Word of God says that, you know, we should not be drunkards, so I don't get drunk. Just for example, the Word of God says you shouldn't be unfaithful to a woman. I'm not unfaithful to a woman. A Word of God says, and this is big before you get married. Then this is a guide to singleness. This is big. The Word of God says that, you know, sex without marriage is a sin. So I don't have sex without marriage. And I'm gonna tell you, If you build your morality on the word of God and you don't follow the word of God, you're breaking, number one, you're breaking the law, but number two, you're breaking your morality. And you're not going to be faithful in a relationship if you're not faithful to yourself, if you're not faithful to the things of God. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You can take it how you want, but if you're not faithful to if you build your morality on the word of God and you're not faithful to the word of God, then in a relationship you're gonna have hard times. Now, with that being said, when you go out to find someone, you go out to find someone according to the way you live your life. You go out, and if I'm living my life according to the word of God, I want to find someone who living their life according to the word of God. Now, with this thought in mind, if I'm with someone who who built their morality, she built her morality on the word of God, and I build my morality on the word of God. When I work on myself having self-control according to the word of God, and she work on herself having self-control according to the word of God, we're not running our relationship. The word of God is God and His word is running the relationship. So understand that that's what this whole premise of being in self-control, being in control of yourself through controlling yourself through the morality. Now, here's the deal: if I am building my relationship with a woman on the word of God, and I if I break my morality, I am in a sense breaking something in the relationship. Now, understanding that that's the point when a relationship get broken. When however you build your relationship, when someone breaks that, that's when it get broken. For instance, if I lie to my wife, and we built our relationships on the moral word of God, and it says don't lie, our lying is a sin. When I lied to my wife, I broke that relationship, and that relationship come broken. Now, because that relationship comes broken, doesn't mean that relationship's over. It means that I have to get back to controlling myself. I had a point where I had lack of self-control, and I got to get back to controlling myself. My wife shouldn't have to tell me, well, you lying, man, you need to get back to controlling yourself. I should already be able to see that. I should be already be able to know that. And if I can't see that, and she tell me that, then she is helping me out, and she's not trying to be in control of the relationship. But a lot of times people have to be in control of a relationship because you won't take responsibility of your actions. You won't take responsibility of you won't act in self-control. So when you're not acting in self-control, the other person feel he has to control you. You see what I'm saying? Now, to the control E, the one that feel that they have to control them. If a person always breaking their self-control, then once it's like, okay, I have to say something to you. Twice, I have to say something to you. The third time, it becomes the issue of a lack of self-control. The third time becomes the issue of lack of self-control. And now you have to look at how you pick them. You know, you really have to take your time in picking people, because you don't want to become in a position where you got to control someone because they won't control themselves and through their actions. That's one way of controlling people. The second way people control people is, number one, we live at a standard that our mates can't reach. I have a standard. Here's the deal. If I have a standard of keeping the word of God, and the person believe in keeping the word of God, but they don't keep that standard, they don't believe in keeping that standard, then I can't get mad at them when I want them to keep that standard, when I'm telling them I'm trying to control them to keep that standard when they never want to do that. So what happened is, I really have to be careful on who I pick and make sure they believe in the principles that I believe in, so that when it comes down to them governing themselves in the relationship, they're going to do what they got to do to always have this relationship controlled by the word of God and not controlled by ourselves. Now, I'm not saying that, you're not going to be working, You're not gonna have to. Here's the deal. Building a relationship is work. Building a relationship is work. But a lot of the work is getting on the same page. Make sure you believe in being equally yoked in all things. If we're equally yoked in the situation of our relationship, it's gonna help with the whole controlling relationship, and it's gonna help with the whole building the relationship. For instance, if this video is going long, so I'm gonna have to cut it short. Part 2 is gonna be coming up in a little bit.